Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In 2013, Pujaswami Tejo Mayananda had assigned me to come and be the guide, to come and serve in Chinmay Mission, Pittsburgh. And so for 5 years straight, every month I would come to Pittsburgh for around a week. And so eventually I'd calculated out that I've lived in Pittsburgh for more than a year. I don't know if I've ever shared with you, when I was growing up, I had a plan that once I was old enough, that I'd like to live in a different country every year of my life. And I wish that would still be the case, but it sort of happened in different ways. I've lived in Pittsburgh for a year of my life. I've lived in London for a year of my life. I've lived in Cleveland for a year of my life. I'm sure Washington, D.C. is about to be completed for a year of my life. Anyways, while in Pittsburgh, in 2014, Vilasini ji and I, we commenced the marriage enrichment retreats. And that's why I'm back in Pittsburgh for 2024. We're having our reunion right now. When we think of marriage or any serious relationship, I don't want it to be conditioned by marriage alone. The benefit of a serious relationship is I have an ego. My serious relationship, in my case, my wife, also has an ego. The only way for my ego to go away is when it interacts with another ego. Through the right relationship or rightness, ego with ego starts to dissolve, not the other person's ego, that's their own agenda, but my own ego. Isn't that why we're born? To transcend the ego. And so in these retreats, we always have the theme of the joy of, and it changes. This year's the joy of change. Last year was the joy of caring. When we interact with an ego, it is most difficult. That's why we like pets. That's why we like our jobs. Because the application of the ego is less. But in a serious relationship, the application of the ego is high. And that's why we try to re-narrate ego with ego, that there's a joy in this. And I feel Meaningful Mornings reminds us of the same. Meaningful Mornings is training in the same. As you interact with egos in casual relationships, serious relationships, this is an opportunity. There's a joy in having one's ego dissolved. Continuing with thinking about relationships, I want you to share with me in the chat, Zoom, Instagram, Facebook, of a quality that you like in another. quickly share with me, instinctively, what is a quality that makes one likable? Honesty, humility, trust, patience, kindness, humility, all are right, obviously. My mind drifts to dependability. I've shared this with all of you in terms of those who are given more responsibilities in our community are those who are dependable. Another word for dependability is commitment. In Bhagavad Gita's chapter 18, in this summary, in this valedictory speech, Shri Krishna is zooming into commitment. He is training us in commitment in 360 degrees. Renunciation and separation, vision and mission, intuition and determination. Now he's flowing through another system, more training in commitment. In Sanskrit, it is described as sukha. I've explained the etymology as good space. Now, there's lots of interpretations of this. In your books, or what you're used to, sukham is defined as happiness. In your books, it's defined as pleasure. In my own reflections and experience, the best way to understand sukham is satisfaction. Satisfaction. And why I'm stating that, this feeling is not intrinsic. There is a reason why I'm feeling this on account of it being a good space. It is still conditioned by a guna. Is that clear, everyone? I'm describing, Shri Krishna is sharing, what it means to be happy, not what it means to be happiness. That is beyond conditions, gunas, and so on. So it's not intrinsic. But the system is zooming into how intrinsic or extrinsic is this feeling? What is causing this satisfaction? So that we are all very clear about transitioning from determination to satisfaction, I'm reading to you Puja Swami Chinmayananda's commentary on this transition. Listen carefully. The three factors that constitute the impulse of all actions. Number one, the knowledge. Number two, the actor. Number three, the action. Afterwards, the very motive forces in all activity, which not only propel activity, but intelligently control and direct it, the buddhi and dhriti have also been shown severally in their different types. Is everyone catching? Is everyone charting out in their minds what Puja Swami Chinmayananda is describing? He has shared why act is based on jnana, karta, karma. Now this has to be implemented. So he shares intuition, determination. Now, why are we going into satisfaction? Every actor acts in his field, guided by his knowledge, ruled by his understanding, buddhi, and maintained by his fortitude, dhriti. The dissection and observation of work is now complete, since we have understood the anatomy and physiology of work. Now what's happening? The psychology of work is now being discussed. Why does man act? In fact, every living creature acts propelled by the same instinct, namely the craving for happiness. How many of you feel confident with this transition from determination to satisfaction. Why all of this is being taught. Good. Those who are driving, no need to put your hands up. Not that you have your hands on your steering wheel anyways. We're like that fancy lady with the fur collar, correct? We have self-driving cars. I was going to say sutra. Verse 37. Yattad agre vishamiva pariname mritopamam tatsukam satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. Joy. This is an awesome verse of this chapter. I'm nearly finalizing the final 4 verses, the critical verses of this chapter. My heart goes to this being one of them. Okay? Yet, that which, that, this satisfaction that's being discussed, agre, in the beginning, visham iva, is like poison. That is a harsh, strong statement. Who would want such a satisfaction? However, pariname, not in the beginning, but later on, amrita upamam, it is like, not poison. The word nectar is used. How do I describe nectar? Satisfaction. It is easy. That which in the beginning is hard, but in the end becomes easy. What is that? That is sattvika sukham. That is quiet satisfaction. Here are some reflections before we move to the next line. Nobody here, and I assure you, you do not need this. Nobody here needs this first line. If we just reflect on our own life, we all know this to be a fact, to be the truth. When you first start exercising, isn't it like poison? Your heart hurts, your lungs hurt, your legs hurt, your wallet hurts. But once you make that your routine, how easy it is. We once had a challenge about the 5 earlies, correct? Sleep, wake, study, walk, sing. Initially, all of this is hard, but once this becomes a habit, it's all easy, correct? For all of you who sleep early, wake early, waking up late is now hard. That's like poison. I hope some of you feel this. And I'll come back to last week when I was describing the symbolism of the churning of the milky personality. What's potent about this being milky is you can't see through a milky substance. Just like we can't see our own nature. What came out first? Poison. What came out last? Amrita. In this symbolism, follow through is being encouraged. Now, how does one endure this difficulty so that this becomes easy? In the next line. Tat sukham satvikam proktam. Such a satisfaction, or sukham, is described as satvik. One has a quietness, and so atma buddhi, their understanding, the better word I like to use is insight, helps them to endure all the way to the end. And so prasadajam, also known as pearl jam, prasadajam, this feeling, it is self-developed. It is a self-reward. By understanding and insight, one will endure the difficulty so that this becomes worthwhile. You've heard me share this 1,000 times. Self-development is simple, yet difficult, and we get stuck there, which is why I keep bringing our attention to worthwhile. Krishna obviously is sharing this. Final reflections. If we're clear about the quiet system, the aggressive and lazy is understood too. What is unique about quietness is that we are closer to our inherent joy. We're closer to this. And so this makes us more independent. That's why I shared the birth of this satisfaction is not extrinsic, but intrinsic. Aggressiveness and laziness, it will become more extrinsic. And one more reflection. Why Shri Krishna introduced the transition verse before getting into this one? He uses two critical words, abhyasa and ramana. It is only through practice, abhyasa, will you feel ramana, will you rejoice or revel, that is perfect. So we all can intellectually or conceptually get this verse, but it won't be your experience unless that practice leads to that perfect. On your shampoo bottles, on your conditioner bottles, it says, repeat until desired result, correct? And we do that with our hair. Do that with your satisfaction. Do that with your life. A lovely verse from inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to listen to the song Call It Dreaming. How many of you did? It's a beautiful song. Here are two wonderful lines that really resonate with me. One is, we can hear when we are hollow. We all know when we are living and interacting in a superficial way. Yes, everyone? Sometimes people will come to me and say, I may be egotistical in doing this. And I stop them and say, you are being egotistical. If you think you may be egotistical, you are being egotistical. And we know that. Another awesome line is, we can lose and call it living. Some people are so scared of faltering, of losing, and so they're stuck in their comfort zones. But the one who's ready to falter and lose, that's how living is. That's how one grows. I told Shuka there's 2 rules to being a good skater. When I was growing up in elementary school, we had an arena nearby, so we went skating regularly. So I was sharing with them. The first rule is have fun. The second rule is it's okay to fall. You learn how to fall then. And when you're okay to fall, I've actually found you fall less then. Skating, skiing, soccer, all of these engagements are like that. Here's your application for today. I want you to guess what the next 2 frameworks or facets of this system will be like in terms of aggressiveness and laziness. And I want you to rate what kind of sukha are you experiencing. 1 is totally tamasic, 100 is totally sattvic. Shanti, shanti, shanti hi. Be joy.